mom to teenagers can be stressful sometimes, or from what I understand, most of the time. So here's one less thing to worry about. You're welcome. We're sharing ways to help you stop stressing over your teens' stress. Ivy Girl Director Jessie Funk is here with advice for moms and teens on how to manage that stress. So Jessie, tell us a little bit. It's so true. You can see your kids stressed out, but it's amazing because you often adopt so much of that stress.
Absolutely. Like as a mom, like you instantly zone in, you tune into your kids' stress, and then you get stressed, and then it makes them more stressed, and we just get in this huge cycle. So it's a hard thing, and everybody deals with it.
Yeah, and I have 5 kids, and I see it myself. There are so many times when I think, they're probably okay. I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here for them, right?
Exactly.
Because we all got through it ourselves, but they kind of do it differently. So tell us what strategies moms can use to help in those situations.
I just think there's just some simple things that we can do. Obviously, it's kind of like when a kid is a toddler and they fall down, and if we say, oh my gosh, are you okay? They kind of freak out a little bit. So they still, even as teenagers, they still tune into our stress. So if we're constantly running around and we're snapping like a catfish and we're just mad at everybody and we're stressed out and we say, I'm so stressed out, they pick up on that and they internalize it and they have this feeling of chaos inside themselves. So we have to watch ourselves as moms, and when we feel that, we have to take some time to self-care.
And rein it in for a minute, give it a second to think. Because so often when we respond to our emotions, we respond incorrectly, right?
Sometimes, yeah. It's an easy thing to do. It's a trap I fall in all the time.
So you say to evaluate the situation and decide what stays and what needs to go.
Yeah, I just think if it gets to the point where it's so stressed out, I mean, some moms don't have any trouble with this. Like some moms are super balanced and awesome, and I'm not one of those.
And aren't you always jealous of them?
Yes, because I am not one of those. I struggle and I just get out of balance and I take on too much because I'm a yellow personality. I like to have fun. I like to say yes to everything. And, and in my mind, I think I'm totally superhuman. I can totally handle this. And then I get so stressed out that I'm like ending up in the fetal position in my bathtub watching like 5 hours of Modern Family. Like I get myself in trouble. So I just have to be careful.
Help us.
I know. And so when that happens, when we get to that point, when we feel it, when we're so stressed out, or when our kid comes home, like our tough lacrosse playing 16-year-old boy is crying, or he's snapping and he's angry, you know something is off. So we have to take a step back and say, okay, what can stay and what can go? What am I doing? These are the questions that I ask myself. My 3 are, am I doing something because it's ego-driven? Like I want the community to see me doing something really cool? Or is it insecurity-driven or shame-driven? Like, if I don't do that, people are gonna think I'm a bad mom. If I don't do that, then I'm a bad mom. Or is it something that we feel like we're pleasing, like we just can't say no. So just take an evaluation of your life, not necessarily your kid, but your life.
So you're looking at the kid in their situation and saying, okay, how do I feel about this? And how do I naturally want to respond, thinking about it for a minute before you actually do respond?
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously just like exactly what you're doing, what types of activities or volunteering or work, maybe some work things, or what things in your life could maybe
give a little bit. Yeah. And then you say to keep things in perspective.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Talking about things that you can control, things you can't control, like for example, the other day I was so stressed out because I thought I hurt a friend's feelings. I said something in a text, I'm super sarcastic, you guys might have gathered that by now. I say things and I don't think about it, and she responded and it sounded like she was kind of hurt, and so I was just so stressed out about it, and I apologized and I tried to make it better, but that feeling lingers, you know how that is, and so that's something I can't really control. Like once you apologize for something, you kind of have to learn to let it go, and that's totally something I struggle with. So things like that, what can I control? What can I not control?
And it's funny because I had a first grader come home the other day, and I was so stressed out about something that happened to him, and I thought, one day he's going to be 80 years old. He will not even have a memory of this moment in his life. It will be gone.
Exactly.
Totally gone.
Exactly.
So maybe I need to let this go too.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So what can you do though in that moment when you're feeling the stress, when it's coming on? I mean, we talked about watching Modern Family, doing those kinds of things. What can you do to get out of that stress zone and go somewhere more peaceful?
I think something that a lot of the brain science that I study, a lot of signs are pointing to mindfulness. So practicing meditation. So you actually sit in a quiet place, no distractions, and you close your eyes and you visualize a beach or you visualize something calm, and you train your brain to focus on one thing at a time. Because we moms, they've actually shown some really cool scientific studies talking about how if we multitask too much, it's actually very damaging for our brains. We need to train ourselves to focus on one thing at a time, and that helps us to manage stress better.
So really compartmentalizing your stress into somewhere else.
Exactly.
And keeping it there.
Yeah, and like saying, okay, this is my time for mindfulness, this is my time for self-care, this is my time to be a mother and focus in on my kids, not to have my laptop out and my phone out. I'm focusing on my children right now. To compartmentalize our actual schedule, that helps manage stress as well.
And that is an interesting point about mindfulness. It's really just about being very present in the moment.
Yes.
So if there's chaos around you, just being present for it, not being distracted by other things.
Absolutely.
And that can help take
especially
all
like
the
with
stress.
kids in that moment, like
hard.
if they know that we're stressed out, but they don't see us running around like a crazy person. They see us focusing in on them. It's okay to say you're stressed, but if you're showing them that you're stressed, that's when they internalize it. So it's okay for us to admit that we're stressed out, but if we're giving them our focused attention, they don't feel it as much and they don't internalize it.
Which is funny because I would think I would not say the words, I'm a little stressed right now. I would just act really stressed right now.
So there's a difference. And that's when the kids, they kind of pick up on it and they're like, oh, I'm tense, I can't, I'm walking on eggshells around my own mom. So, there's a huge difference there.
Yeah, so keep those there. So, how do we prioritize play for kids and for moms, really?
I think this is a huge one because I think there is like this need inside of us mothers to make sure that our kids are scheduled all the time because somehow we think it's a reflection of us. This is my theory. This is just my opinion. But I think like if I see my kid watching television, like my 8-year-old Jackson, he loves TV. And if I see him there and I'm like, he's not eating a vegetable and he's not like playing like with Legos and he's not stimulating his mind, I somehow think that it's a reflection on me that I'm somehow not a good mom or something. I don't know. And so I feel this need to make him do it. But oh my gosh, you guys, like especially for mothers, we have to prioritize fun and play and hobbies and downtime to just breathe and relax because we don't do that enough.
And so play is not necessarily just the lessons. You're not going to play soccer, you're not going to play volleyball, actually taking time as a family and playing.
Absolutely.
And I had just read in a long-term study, that the greatest predictor of happiness was your relationship with your siblings.
Oh, I love that.
Like the long-term thing. And that makes me think because it's hard to allow your kids to kind of have that time to be with each other and to enjoy each other, to be present with each other.
Yeah.
And have that mindfulness within your family.
Absolutely.
And to your last point, and I love this, you mentioned this earlier, was just that you've got to set the example. If you're stressed out, a lot of times that trickles down to your kids.
Absolutely. Be what you want to see. If you want your kids constantly stressed out and they have a hard time managing their emotions, if they're getting snappy and if they're angry and they're frustrated and they get confused, or that can be something that we teach our kids. And so I know that puts a little bit of pressure on us, but we have to manage that in ourselves so that we can model that behavior.
So be prepared for your kids when they come home, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like put stuff away, put your phone away, put the laptop away, put the dishes away. When your kid comes home, say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a great tip. I need to work on that myself.
I do too. This is stuff that I'm constantly telling myself.
It's hard. And you have workshops coming up. Tell us about those.
Yeah, at ivygirlacademy.com we have workshops, we have a summer camp, we have a certification program, we have a whole bunch of awesome leadership yumminess for your teenage girl.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jessie.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.